The first antique boat club was at Lake Apacung.
First ever? Anywhere? Oh, get out of here.
The first chapter of antique boats
Of
was
any
here.
antique boat.
Yeah, we got invited years ago to set up as part of the antique boat show. And when you're at the Lake Apacung Historical Museum, it's just a natural. This show has been going on for so many years. This is the 49th show.
It's amazing.
And part of what we do when you do history. And these boats are also the boats that I grew up with on the lake.
You know, so, and I'm just real here is like, I keep hearing from these guys, like the challenge is how do we get like the next group of people into this?
You know, it is. And you hear it from antique car people, you hear it from antique boat people that, you know, what do you do to get the 30 and 40-year-olds into this? And they're really neat. You have to have the dedication for these boats.
Yeah.
I mean, a boat these days,
just go in and fire up and you roll.
And you roll. There are different types of boats to own. You know, operating them isn't as easy as modern boats.
Hard to dock.
But no, I mean, the boats are wonderful. And it is a real specialty thing. I think that's the biggest thing is like, and I think the best thing is you own a more modern boat, like, you know, a patio boat or something like that. And this is your other boat.
Yeah.
You know, this is like your convertible. It's so funny. You know, the other thing that we always tend to forget with some of these boats is they are boats. It's kind of like at the museum, the carousel horse. Now we treat it like this thing. You can't touch it. You can't do it. Kids used to climb all over them. What's these boats? They were boats.
They were used every day.
And then kids climbed all over these boats. God knows what else people did them and everything else. And it's like, but they are boats. But now we baby them so much.
It's meant to be used and run. And
And it is great. And it does take you back to an earlier point. And the fact that the first antique boat club was at Lake Apacung.
First ever? Anywhere? Oh, get out of here.
The first chapter of antique boats was here.
Antique boat.
Yeah, before there was like the LHA, you know, BCS, there was a Lake Apacung group that later combined with them just a couple of years later. But it started here,
wow, I didn't know that.
You know, with Wayne Moxfeld and that
I
whole
remember
thing.
Wayne.
And it was like, so it is really cool because we're not the biggest lake and we're not this or that.
But we're the best.
But we're the best. Well, it is an amazing resource. But the fact that antique boating got such a start here, and it is really neat. And at a lot of these boats, you know, the history that people know about these boats is just amazing.
Talked to a couple people. It's like the last of its kind, or this. You know,
oh yeah, and it's like they'll start going back with who owned it. You know, the pedigrees of these boats and all. And I'll never forget, you know, talking to Wayne over the years. Oh yeah, I had to go to so and so's boathouse. We pulled it off the bottom. And then we restored it, and it's like, oh my God, and these boats are still around.
That's amazing.
You don't have to spend a fortune for some of these boats either, but it needs the care. And so if you have the love for it, that's what it is. It's
how do we get people to love it again? That's the challenge.
Yes, it is.
How do you do that? Any thoughts?
You know, I think it's just an appreciation for what went into building these and the design and the period they came out of. And, you know, the other thing is, some of these kids, the things that they know today as their boats, 30 years from now, it's going to be the same thing. They're going to look at those boats and go, ooh, yeah, I remember those.
So it's almost like if folks worked to reserve yesterday, they'll get to reserve there today, tomorrow. Well,
exactly.
That was a confusing one, right?
But it makes sense. Yeah. And it's you know, the other thing that is good is a lot of people are taking a lot of the houses around the lake and they're putting a lot of money into restoring and you know, really, you know, modernizing them, but keeping that kind of older, nostalgic look. You know, I mean, we have some beautiful everything from Victorians up on this lake, and just to see in my lifetime, this is probably the best the lake has ever looked. It really has. One of the things I will say is when we get people to come up to the lake to visit, you know, either friends or like elected officials and things, they're always amazed by this resource because even if they like serve New Jersey and they haven't been on this lake, they have no idea what's here. They don't idea how big it is, how much there is to do here.
How much of an economic resource it is. And
yes.
I don't think folks understand how much cleaner Lake Apacung is than probably 30 years ago.
You're right, because there's the perception that it's gotten worse or that over time. It's totally gotten better because there's a lot of good work that's gone on that, and also stormwater management. You know, we're dealing with trying to, you know, do some work over from the Lake Apacung Foundation and the Lake Apacung Commission with Landing Channel. They found that when they did a bathymetric study to see how the bottom is, some of it have up to 8 feet of not debris, but you know,
miscellaneous fill.
Yeah, fill on it. Yeah.
And
it's all because, you know, for years we used to know that like the water used to run right in from around Shore Hills Beach into the lake, and a lot of that's been corrected now. But we still have to go back now and get some of the stuff out that we put in there, and the same thing.
The
You know, a
rest of
lot
the
of the phosphorus is in the lake. We got to go now and get it back out.
years
There's a
of
lot of good things.
just not knowing we got to clean up.
It's not bad. Yeah, it was just not knowing. That's exactly what it is. You
Didn't know
know,
better.
the knowledge now, and you know, you want to keep this resource like the amazing resource that it is
I
going
wonder
forward.
what someone's going to say in 30 years when they watch this video and go, "Those guys didn't know."
I know.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what a bunch of meatheads. They had like they're looking at the lake and they didn't even know.
That.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you do a bunch of amazing things for Lake Marty.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, hopefully everybody here understands. I mean, you are literally Mr.
Yeah.
Lake of Patcon.
It
Thank you.
Gives me something to do in retirement.
Yeah, you're not retired.
Ah!